And I'm Matt Hanna.
And this is Horror Hour with the Hannas,
where we like to talk about all your favorite scary movies.
And today we are talking about a very exciting new scary movie, because we are talking about weapons.
And this was both of ours and most anticipated for the rest of the year. So we were very hyped to see this. We saw it on the Thursday night, like first release we could. Came out on Friday. You know how they do that. So like 5:30 on a Thursday, we went and saw this thing. Mm-hmm. And this will be spoiler free as usual because it's a new release, but I will just go off and say that we had a very good time, and a lot of our theater had a very good time.
Yes, our theater was pretty reactive, seemed to like it, and we chatted with some people after who also really liked it. But before we get too deep in the episode, we were given an icebreaker a little bit ago that we hadn't gotten to, so I wanted to answer that before we talk about the movie. The icebreaker comes from Brit. Her account is Brits by Hobnob on Instagram and Blue Sky. And she's a member of the 1001 by 1 podcast. And she said, if you were spirited into one horror universe, which would it be and why? Based off like vibes.
Okay,
like
just
your
off
general
of vibes.
Who you are as
I have
a
no
person.
idea. You go first.
I was trying to think of something like kind of quirky and weird or different. So I think I would be spirited into a Yorgos Lanthimos movie.
Oh, okay. You go into which way? With Mother's him or no? No, that's
Aronofsky.
Yes, Aronofsky. So which one? Any of them?
I think all of his movies are like, they obviously exist in like different planets or like different spaces, but like there's something weird and quirky with like all of his movies and his tone, and I just feel like I'd fit into any of his vibe.
Well,
or Nightmare on Elm Street, because I love Freddy and his chaotic energy, and also I have a history of having a lot of nightmares, so it kind of feels right.
I'll ask you first. What would you put me in? I have one that I think is cheating.
What's the cheating?
Oh, well, I was going to say, as a fellow Aquarius, I think you got to throw me into Mulholland Drive or something. Inland Empire.
Lynchian.
Something Lynchian.
I think Inland Empire is a funny pick.
People might not call it a horror movie, but I'll count it.
It's pretty horrifying, to be honest. The vibes are terrifying.
Yeah, I kind of like that for me. Anything else, if you're going like a more traditional horror movie you think I'd fit into?
What did we say was Aquarius in our episode? I said Inland Empire, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Fuck.
And I said Fire Walk with Me or something, so...
I think we would be... Both of us could fit right into Bodies.
Oh, okay, sure.
The sense of humor is so us, I feel like.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Okay. And we would like totally party during a hurricane.
For sure.
If we're in an area with hurricanes,
and we have a podcast about hanging out with our smartest and funniest friends.
Yes, so we would fit right into Bodies. Okay, so let's talk about this damn movie. So, Weapons was written, produced, and directed by Zach Cregger.
Of Barbarian fame, JK, from Whitest Kids You Know fame.
But for
also
the horror
Barbarian.
community, Barbarian, which is one of my all-time favorite horror directorial debuts. I fucking love Barbarian more than anything in the world. So we asked our friends on social media, what's your favorite horror directorial debut? So I wanted to read some of the answers we got. As a reminder, you can follow us on social media and answer our questions at any point, and I'll share your answer on the pod. So, Movie Postmortem Podcast said The Witch, which I love. I love The Witch so much. Great pick.
That is a great
for
pick.
Eggers.
And then you forgot that one.
I
can't believe that was his directorial debut.
Yeah, it's crazy. Real Talk said Tobe Hooper's Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Which we will be seeing for Texas Chainsaw Day, August 18th, in theaters, and I am very, very excited.
It's a great pick.
Yep.
Philip Marianello, said they're posted they're coming to get you, Barbara.
That might be the best answer to go with Romero and Night of the Living Dead.
Yes. Suicide Chair. Sorry if I pronounced you wrong. I said Hereditary, and it's not even close.
That's also a very good pick. There's some really good horror directors with like their freshman outing being one of their best.
Yeah. Red Treehouse Pod said recently, St. Maud, semi-recent, The Sixth Sense, and classic Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, these are all great answers.
And then our friend Steinmetz Ethan,
a regular contributor,
said Barbarian.
There we go.
Love.
I know. So I will say there are Barbarian haters out there. So Hannah and I both really enjoyed that movie. We saw it in theaters.
We are anti-haters. We lovers.
Anti-haters. We both loved Barbarian. I already know people are not going to be happy about that, but I thought it was fantastic. Very scary. I've said before on this podcast that I felt like I was going to pull a hamstring in the theaters during Barbarian.
I definitely dicked up my neck.
Especially those opening scenes with the tunnels. Just really enjoy that movie. And Hannah has said multiple times on our TikToks, if you go look, about how the 3-act structure where it's like changing things throughout and kind of getting us to basically like a different movie.
Yes.
And kind of going back and forth, and the whole structure was something you really loved, and I agree. And I think like there has some pretty interesting thematic elements as well. So,
yes.
And I will say, I felt very similar about this one. I really liked the structure you chose. I thought the thematic elements were very interesting.
Slut, you're jumping so
Oh, my
far
bad.
ahead.
I'm just trying to transition.
Okay. Well, now we're going to talk about the background of this film, and then we'll get more into our thoughts. So, back of the box summary. The plot follows the mysterious case of 17 children from the same classroom who mysteriously run away on the same night.
And that's basically what every single trailer showed. And after we see the movie...
And it's literally on the poster.
Yeah, it's on the poster. The entire trailer is actually the first 3 minutes of the movie. And then everything else was pretty much not in at least the original trailers.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
which was awesome. Because then I was like, where are we going? I have no idea.
And I think Cregger, both of his horror films, have really great marketing that reveals nothing besides like the beginning of the first act.
Barbarian did the same thing.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm so excited for his third movie, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
Resident Evil or whatever.
I fully trust this man, I think. Yeah. So this movie stars Josh Brolin, Julia Garner, Carrie Christopher, Alden Ehrenreich.
I never know how to say it. He's in Oppenheimer. He's the second Han Solo.
Yeah. Austin Abrams and Benedict Wong. And Pedro Pascal was actually originally cast as Archer Graff. That's Josh Brolin's character.
I don't like that casting at all, but continue. I'll tell you why.
But he had to drop after filming was delayed, and then it overlapped with Fantastic Four, which he'd already committed to.
I think that as much as I think Pedro Pascal's good, this is a perfect role for Josh Brolin.
I think it's
like almost like typecast role for him.
I loved Josh Brolin in this. So
his like rage, his like silent rage, is pretty unmatched, and
I'll
that's
say
what he needed.
I love Pedro.
Yeah, he's
no shade to Pedro.
He's showing up too much right now.
But I do think Josh Brolin is great in this, and I really love him in this movie. Yeah. So this movie was written after Cregger lost his close friend and collaborator, Trevor Moore.
Yeah, also from Whitest Kids You Know.
Yes.
And Miss March. Which was very sad. I'm sorry. I was actually I felt very sad over that as someone like watched that a lot as a kid. And like he's just really, really, really talented creator that I don't think ever really got to like take off the way he probably should have outside of Whitest Kids You Know.
And Cregger said, that chapter of my life was terrible. Writing the movie was just kind of me interacting with those feelings in a way that wasn't self-destructive.
That's very sad. But I'm glad this is like great what we get out of like tragedy, right? This is a pretty good send-off for him if that's how we're going to look at it.
Yeah. And the screenplay for this entered the market in January of 2023. And it immediately prompted a bidding war between Netflix, New Line Cinema, TriStar Pictures, and Universal.
Oh, holy shit. I'm so glad Netflix didn't get this.
I know. Holy fuck.
Oh, my God.
That would have been awful.
We got in the same movie, but this is a theater watch. I mean, we saw 9X, and like it was wonderful on a big screen, so it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Kind of still mad that like Netflix has Rian Johnson for all of the, what's his name?
Knives
movies.
Outs.
Yeah, the Knives Outs.
And Frankenstein.
It's ridiculous. I'm glad, I mean, especially if they're basically falling out with David Lynch, who we've already mentioned many times, and not getting, one of his last big creations put on screen because of Netflix bullshit, and then he died. And like there are creators that, and I know what's his name, Scorsese wants to just make stuff, and Netflix is not. You can do it for cheap, and like they're not like coming to the table. Instead, they like to keep pumping out weird other slot that they have.
But then they put How Much Movie into the Electric State. So it's
exactly. It's silly.
yourself
So like
make
if I
sense.
were don't work with Netflix in my opinion.
Well, New Line obviously secured the rights.
We love that.
And-
We were just talking. You talked about Freddie. That's the house that Freddie built.
Yes.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. So without Freddie, we don't get this movie, or not a New Line at least.
And Cregger received Final Cut privileges. So I'm just sharing that because we love when a director gets Final Cut privileges.
And he should be given them for every other film he makes now. Like, actually, straight up. Like, everything that's like how Spielberg got it after Jaws. Like, Cregger, you've got 2 bangers on your hand that are extremely unique.
Yes.
Like, you have earned Final Cut for the rest of your life, in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree. And I think for your second movie, getting Final Cut
Yeah, it's a huge deal.
is a huge
But
deal.
again, that's what Spielberg got it for Jaws.
Yeah.
So, not saying Cregger's our next Spielberg, but like he is definitely a new
A really
big name
unique voice
in
the
horror.
space.
And I'm excited to see him do maybe non-horror at some point as well. But both of his movies have been a blend of comedy, horror, drama, kind of genreless. So I think he's very talented.
I agree. Yeah. And the big story that had come out when this was in the process of being made is that Jordan Peele and his company, Monkey Paw Productions, were tied in with Universal in the bidding war. But they lost.
Universal or New Line?
Universal.
Oh, okay.
But they lost.
Yeah.
Obviously. So why would it be New Line? Yeah, so starting that sentence over.
My bad, I get confused.
Jordan Peele and Monkey Paw Productions were in conjunction with Universal in the bidding war, and they lost. And because of that, he fired his long-term managers.
Yeah, he wanted to
pissed.
produce this one. He's got Him, which we saw a trailer for him that looked much better.
I'm really excited for him.
The previous trailers for him looked bad. This one, I was like, you know what? I think this looks cool.
I don't agree at all. I've always thought it was cool. But, yeah. So, it was going to be something special, whether you like it or not, something special, if Jordan Peele wanted it.
Mm-hmm. I'm also wondering, though, like, did we end up with the best case scenario? Like, would Peele's production company allow Cregger to have Final Cut? Like, I'm very curious.
I kind of feel like he would. He kind of feels like the type. But, I don't know. We'll never know, because that's not what we got. Do we want to move on and start getting into the nitty-gritty a little bit more?
Sure. Is that everything for background?
That's all my background.
Okay.
We saw this, as Matt said, the day it came out. We had a busy theater. It was
Yeah,
pretty
a lot
full.
of people. That always makes me happy for IMAX, especially like more expensive showing.
And people seem to really like it.
There was a lot of laughs, a lot of gasps,
Screams.
some screams, a big mix. And I think it's interesting. There are a lot of different feelings people are taking away from this.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm just talking purely on like a feeling standpoint, I liked this a lot. I was stressing. Like a lot of the movie, I felt like this deep tension and pit in my stomach that I haven't felt in a while, and I loved having that. Mm-hmm. But it was kind of funny. Like, I thought the comedic moments were good and they were funny.
Yes.
However, they were so ingrained into this like disgusting feeling I had also that I was like, they almost made me feel like worse in some moments. Like people were like giggling around me, and I was just like, but the implication, the implication of the funny moments is still horrific. And I loved feeling like shit, to be honest. Like I really
love feeling like shit.
I like a movie that can get under my skin, and this one did.
Yeah.
To the point where I was almost like annoyed with some people laughing because I was like, my tummy hurt. Why are you laughing? But also I get it because it is funny. But yeah. And Hannah screamed. She had the loudest screech in the theater at one point. So
I knew it was coming. I was like so embarrassed, but I knew I was going to scream. And I did. I screamed twice, like a little bitch. And I literally leaned over after and said, was I the only one that screamed? And Matt was like, no.
I don't think so. There was a couple good jump scares.
And then
just start going.
I hid 4 times too. So.
Yeah. Which, during Barbarian, is one of your other biggest hide movies. So clearly, like, Cregger's really good at building not just, like, jump scares, but really suspenseful scenes on top of also making a movie that makes me feel just, like, uneasy the entire time. Which it did. Like, again, I walked out and was like, my tummy hurt, but in a good way. So.
Would you say overall, like, this is one of the scarier movies of the year?
Scary is such a hard term.
For me.
Scary meaning like I felt the same way a movie like Uncut Gems might make me feel. Like just like upset. It was stressful and upsetting in a good way. I would say that this is what I would consider the best traditional horror movie of the year. You guys know how I feel about 28 Years Later and also Sinners, but a lot of people argue that they're not horror movies exactly. I'll argue that they are, but if I'm going to go with those semantics, I would say that I think this is like the best true horror film of the year. But you know what? The idiots out there are also going to tell me this isn't a horror film, so they're going to say this was a thriller, and I'm going to say I'm in your walls.
Yeah.
Like, now what?
People are literally like, this one didn't scare me, so therefore it's not a horror movie. Yeah. It's a different genre.
This movie...
Like, that's not how it works.
This movie I have thought about a lot, especially the last line of the movie has made me upset in a good way, as I keep saying, a lot these past couple days.
Yeah.
So
I thought this movie was scary. I think the beginning is definitely scarier than the rest. I think the scariness fades. It's like a different kind of scary later. Like, I think the beginning is more like not necessarily jumpy scary, but more along that vein, and like versus the end is more like disturbing. If that makes sense. I
agree, and I want you to talk on this a little bit, but I'll set you up. I find that this is another like movie that has from him that has such a tight screenplay and feels like so correctly paced for what he's trying to do. But I could go off on this, but I won't let you do it because I know how you feel about Barbarian.
Yeah, so I adore Barbarian to my core.
I know you do. I kind of do too. Maybe not as much as you, but I know you do.
And what I forget the question. Can you repeat that?
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
I was saying that I found that both of his scripts and his screenplays
are like really tight,
and really well paced, even though they're unconventional.
Yes. Okay, I got it. So what I would say is that I really like Cregger scripts being so unconventional. That's part of why I love Barbarian and why I like this. I like something that's just doing something a little different, unique, and I know some people like that pisses them off and they don't like that, but it's for me. And it's my channel, so, that's fine. I will say it. So I really like that both films kind of have like a multi-act structure. In Barbarian, it's set up a little differently. Like each act is trying to tell or show something very different about like men in our society and like threats to women.
Yes.
Versus this one is kind of using each separate section or chapter to show the experience of a different character and how those experiences weave together to make the full story. So it is different, but I really liked that. I thought the pacing was good. I didn't think anyone's section lasted too long. I think, if anything, there was a section or two that I thought could have maybe been longer, but I also don't know where that would have gone had it been longer, so I'm like fine with what we got.
I actually to really like when they got cut off, and I was like, oh my god, the section's over, because I knew it was setting up for something later, in an intersection later, and to see from other perspectives.
And I thought that was very cool.
I felt that to be like jarring in a good way. I was like, oh shit, I'm back in, like where are we going next?
And I think each of the characters that we followed was really interesting because they brought something different to the table, different emotions, different experiences, and the way those different experiences overlapped I thought was really interesting.
Yes.
And I think some of the experiences of these people, that's kind of why there is some slight tonal shifts, is because some people's experiences is like naturally funnier or more stressful than others.
I think
the first two are definitely more stressful.
Archer and Justine.
Yes. Than the rest. And then it gets a little funnier, and then it kind of shifts back into like pure disturbing. The end, in my opinion. But yeah, I think that it's paced extremely well, and I think it balances the comedy, drama, scary really well.
And I wanted you to talk about that because I do think this is something that we've complained about a lot in movies, and it seems like Cregger really just gets it.
He gets it.
Like, and it's hard to put into a tangible explanation of like why, but you were talking about like the tonal shifts in it. He does so much groundwork throughout the movie, and there's so much effort to make it so that you accept those tonal shifts or maybe the more outlandish elements. And I found that in both of his films, which both end up having very outlandish things, I had no issue with, right? And it really has to do with, and I wish I could put into better words exactly what he does, but I guess he doses you slowly, microdoses you with like little things that eventually lead up to you just fully accepting and buying into that universe. So
Yeah.
it's really, he's just a good writer. I'm going to give him credit. That's all those years of sketch comedy. We'll do that, I guess.
I mean, yeah, he's clearly like a very good comedic mind, but he also understands scary. And I think his films are really great at weaving in themes that he wants you to get.
I want to address one TikTok comment that we can keep in on the pod. Someone said they thought it was too predictable. And I will, say I disagree.
I don't understand what in this movie was predictable at all.
I don't think it's predictable in the slightest. And here's the thing, even if it is predictable, who cares? It wasn't really, the mystery element's fun, but this was very much a character study in a lot of ways. It was fun to see how each person was affected by this tragedy differently and how they like worked together, I guess, to like figure it out, or how everything interweaved. And like there are there were bad people in this movie that aren't just our main bad guy. Yeah. And like we're following some bad people, and like it's really just how everyone responds to tragedy, and everyone is just very different. Like, even Justine's kind of morally gray at some point.
Yeah, there's
like,
not
she's
a single
sus.
character who's not... Like, I think the principal's the only one who's not morally gray.
The justice for Alex, though. The only little boy that was there. And his vignettes, because this movie, I don't think it's a spoiler to say, it's like a lot of vignettes of different characters' perspectives as we go through similar events, all from different perspectives, but Alex's is heartbreaking. Like, actually, maybe some of the saddest things I've seen in a horror movie. Yeah. Outside of a Lynch movie, really.
I thought and I think it helps that the kid is so freaking cute.
He's really good.
So, like, you feel for him.
But I can't say anything more about him because it ties into spoilers and themes and all kinds of good stuff.
You absolutely can't.
So.
That's the thing. It's kind of hard to talk about this movie without, like, spoiling things because it goes... Again, it's not predictable. It goes into, like... some wild directions that I don't think anyone going into this could have called.
I know, I'm getting like goosebumps in a bad way thinking about what he goes through.
The poor angel boy. Yeah.
It's great though. I'm even just thinking about it now. I really enjoyed this movie a lot.
What else can we say without spoiling?
I said a lot. What do you got for me?
I also said a lot. I also really liked the... Sorry, I burped. I burp a lot. I really liked the performances in this. Like we were saying, that Alex really makes you feel. And I feel like all of these characters kind of really get me in my feels in different ways, the way they're supposed to. Like, all of these actors do a really great job of eliciting emotions, and they all feel like real people. And, like, Josh Brolin is someone we all fucking know, and he's not distracting.
I love Josh Brolin, so...
Like, he's not distracting, and I feel like in a lot of horror movies, having, like, a big-name person can be really distracting. Mm-hmm. He's not, in my opinion, because he fits the character so well, and I just think everyone else is, like, really shining through in what they're doing.
I want to talk about the acting really quick. Yeah. Because I think it's a combo of... Zach Cregger actually like pulled some star power, I would say. Some up and coming, some like generational older, like a really kind of interesting mix. But I think it's also a combo of him being a good director and having a good script.
Yes.
Like everyone he got is good, and then he kind of just elevates them. But I wanted to pull it out. Like Julia Garner is clearly up and coming talent.
She's having a huge year because I mean. Previously, most people knew her from Ozark, but this year she had Wolfman, which is a stinker, but, you know, good for her. And then we had this, and also Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four, and everyone loves.
So, great pick from her. Alden is also, like, huge, had one of his best performances in Oppenheimer, even with limited screen time. So, like, in my head, he's another one of these, like, up and coming. He's a little older, but still.
He's definitely not up and coming. I feel like he's been around for a while, but in like smaller roles.
He's like about to break out, is what I would say. Yeah. He feels to me as someone that's like in the breakout stage. Brolin has been broken out for years.
Brolin's been doing his thing forever.
But then you also have, I would say, like a little unsung hero in Benedict Wong.
He was great. Is
really an impeccable straight man, like in terms of like comedic value. He is so good at like this, and he does it in the Marvel franchise as well. Like he's the straight man. And he just, I don't know, something about him, this seriousness he brings to like some goofy roles, because his role's goofy in this. Yeah. He's a goofy ass principal. Yeah. Who wears like a bow tie and a vest, like at one point.
But he also like is such a good person, I feel.
He just, I really like him in this. I like him in a lot of stuff, and I hope he keeps like showing up and stuff. But anyway, like those four, I thought really stood out for me. And then also at the little kid that he doesn't even have like a Wikipedia page yet, Alex.
Yeah, so. He doesn't. He's an unknown. Carrie Christopher, by the way. So anything else we can say without spoiling?
I don't think there's much. I think, as we said before, Cregger's good. Like, this is a good-looking movie. Doesn't have the typical complaints I have about some modern movies, looking like Jared commercials, as I joked before.
Yeah.
I think I was pretty locked in. I'd say see this on the biggest screen you can. You want it to be loud and big, and like this guy's here to stay, is what I would say. And like, it's another person similar to like an Ari Aster or an Eggers that it's like I want to see everything I can that they make. Yeah. So I'm pumped. Good for Cregger.
Yeah. I really like his voice. And I know his voice is just not for some people. Yeah. But it's for me.
I will say. Like, it's alright if it's not for you. Just get out of the way, because we're here. We're getting on the Zager train. Excuse me. I was going to say Cregger. I think I said Zager or whatever.
Zager.
I'm going a little less Dixit today with my speaking.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Let's spoil this thing. Are we going 15 second summary? I don't even want to do one. It's going to make me sad for this movie.
Yeah, okay.
Do you want to do it?
Yeah.
Are you ready? All right, Hanna. 3, 2, 1, go.
17 children go missing from a class. They got out of bed, went downstairs, opened the front door, walked into the dark, and they never came back, and we're left to deal with the aftermath of that, and it's fucking bananas. I just read the poster.
I'm so upset. You're cheating.
It was in front of me.
Okay.
I actually looked up and was like, shit, I should have started from the beginning. Last night at 2:17 a.m. I was like, shit, I missed a good opportunity.
Do me.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, like about halfway through this movie, I actually thought that they were just doing a secret It remake. And it still kind of feels that way a little bit in terms of an It remake. But there's a witch, and she is trying to eat children. And that's what this movie's about.
Yay.
It's spoiled now.
Eating children.
Oh, we didn't even do our spoiler zone thing. Whatever, I'll cut it in. Okay. So, yeah, there's a witch. She's trying to suck on children. That doesn't sound good.
That does not sound okay.
She's trying to suck the souls out of children.
Yeah, which is such a
What do you mean?
bananas.
Oh, we're going to cancel the witch now that's eating children and parents? You know?
No, suck on children.
I know. Cancel her. All right.
The witch.
Cancel the witch. All right.
Yeah.
You want me to do a full plot description right now?
Yep.
For everyone in there? All right, are we ready? This is an insane plot description, and because this movie's so like out of order, it feels even more insane. So I'm going to do my best.
Give it to us, babe.
Okay, so 2:17 a.m., 17 children from Justine's class suddenly flee from their homes and disappear, except for one student, Alex Lilly. A police investigation begins. Alex and Justine are interviewed, but no leads are found. Nearly a month after the incident, Principal Marcus Miller places Justine on leave as the community suspects her involvement in the children's disappearance. Depressed, she turns to alcohol and seeks comfort from her ex-boyfriend, police officer Paul. Meanwhile, Archer, father of one of the missing children, struggles with his son Matthew's disappearance. Frustrated with the police's ineffective investigation, he commences his own. Concerned about Alex's well-being, Justine follows him home and notices all of the windows covered in newspaper and Alex's parents in a hazy state. She tells Marcus and he insists he perform a wellness check. Justine and Archer dream about the missing children and an uncanny makeup-covered woman. Archer finds that all of the children ran towards a similar location, but he can't pinpoint where. Justine visits Alex's house but falls asleep in her car, and then a woman exits the house and cuts a lock of Justine's hair. James, a local drug addict that was assaulted by Paul earlier, breaks into Alex's house, deducing it is abandoned. While ransacking the place, he finds Alex's parents and the missing children in the basement in a catatonic state. He goes to the police to report it, hoping for a reward, but Paul spots him and chases him. James runs into the woods and sees the one from Justine Archer's nightmares. Paul catches James and drives to Alex's house to investigate, leaving James handcuffed in the car. Hours later, Paul returns to the car and drags James into the house. Marcus is visited at school by Alex's supposed aunt, Gladys, who claims she is the family's caretaker after Alex's parents have fallen ill. Marcus insists that he must meet with Alex's parents. Later, Gladys visits Marcus and his husband Terry at their home. She first performs a ritual that forces Marcus into killing Terry and then proceeds to order Marcus to kill Justine. Marcus attacks Justine at the gas station, interrupting an argument between her and Archer. As Marcus chases after Justine, he is fatally struck by a car. At the hospital, Justine and Archer reconcile and realize the children's running paths all intersected at Alex's house. Justine and Archer investigate Alex's house, discovering that Alex and his parents are housing Gladys. It is revealed that Gladys is a witch who uses a strange potted tree to rejuvenate herself by feeding on youthful energy. After putting his parents into a trance, Gladys ordered Alex to keep her secret and threatened to kill his parents if he disobeys, and instructed him to gather items from his classmates to sustain herself. So she could, pull them in. That's why they left. All right, desperate Alex complied, hoping she would depart once she recovers. Hypnotized, Paul and James attack Justine and Archer before Justine kills them with Paul's gun. Searching the basement, Archer finds Gladys instead of Matthew, and she hypnotizes him to attack Justine. Alex escapes from his parents and enters Gladys's room, clobbing her ritual using her hair, and then forces the children to kill her. The possessed children then chase Gladys through the neighborhood and dismember her, thereby lifting the spell. Archer reunites with the vacant Matthew and carries him home. A narrator states that Alex moved out of town to live with a kinder aunt after his parents were institutionalized. The children, left catatonic from the ordeal, were reunited with their parents. A year later, only some of them begin to speak again.
Oh, God.
And that's why my tummy hurt at the end of this movie.
All right, horror fans, let's be real for a second. You ever watch a horror movie and think, if I were in that situation, I'd totally survive?
Okay, but would you? Like, what's your wisdom stat? What's your dexterity? Because if you've never rolled initiative against a shadow demon in a cursed cathedral, then I've got a podcast you need to check out.
It's called Table Talk Friday, and it's the Dungeons and Dragons podcast that makes you feel like you're in a horror movie. With dice. It's hosted by 3 friends, Andrew, Seth, and Zach, who are basically horror movie nerds with swords.
They walk you through how to build unforgettable characters, haunted storylines, and terrifying villains, just like the ones we talk about every week. But instead of watching from your couch, you're part of the story.
So if your idea of self-care is slaying demons and bantering with your besties while trying not to die horribly in a magical swamp, this podcast is for you.
Search Table Talk Friday wherever you get your podcast and start your campaign. Trust us, your friend group needs this.
Because what's scarier than a horror movie?
A badly planned D&D session. That ending was phenomenal, I have to say. That, like, just going that dark route and, like, really committing to just the horribleness of all of this. I was so happy. Like, give us that.
We really like a bleak fucking ending.
I like that it's happy. They win, but, like, at what cost?
But it's bleak.
Like, it's still, and I think that ties into themes, which we'll get into as well. But it's really hard. It's a hard movie, and I like it a lot. And it's also weirdly funny.
Yeah.
That's like what's...
I agree.
But that's what I'm saying is like, this is funny, but also, oh my God, this is horrible. Violence against children is horrible and makes for such good storytelling, to be honest. Mm-hmm. That's a big thing about this is just like... And that's why I was comparing it to It is very much about the lack of control children have and like the violence perpetrated by them, by communities a lot of the times. And it just hurts a lot. So...
Yeah.
Well...
I want to talk about how great our Aunt Gladys is.
Who is she?
Aunt Gladys is played by...
You can't remember?
Shit. She's
looking up the name, guys.
Fuck, I just had it in the chat. Amy Madigan.
Okay.
I didn't know who she was.
I didn't know either.
She was
horrific.
Really good, really scary, really... They first kind of play her as, like, she's so weird, it's funny. And, like, the movie knows that. And then it slowly... Actually, probably not that slow. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, fuck, she's fucked up and she's scary. And the performance is just really good. It's
funny, like, because she is so uncanny... It like really works, and I have to say, I didn't like Longlegs. I think we know that, and I felt that this movie did all the things I wish Longlegs had done. This to me, when I got out, I was like, oh, this is just a better Longlegs, and I kind of stand by that.
Yeah, I see where you feel that way. I do feel like tonally they're a little different. Cinematography is different, but I understand plot-wise, and like the structure of the movie is different, but like plot-wise, with just like weird mystery to be solved with weird answer, yes. I understand where you're coming from, and I think it has a better... It ties together better than Longlegs, which had like a disappointing reveal to me. I could see why people might find this reveal disappointing also, but I felt like it felt more fitting. I think Longlegs should have gone a much more surreal route with its conclusion. I agree, completely agree. And I think this one had a conclusion that was like the right amount of wacky, and it actually took the time to explain and build it.
This felt like it had more of a, as we said before, more groundwork.
Yes.
that got us to where we were,
Yeah,
and it felt like everything
100%.
felt together, where our long legs in comparison feels a little more half-baked, surprisingly. And I thought this was scarier and made me feel worse than Long Legs did.
Well, the first time that I saw Long Legs, I felt really tense the whole movie, and then I realized, like, nothing really happened that I needed to feel tense about. So then rewatching it, I didn't feel tense or scared, like, whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this movie, upon rewatch, will still bug me. And that didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So that's saying something.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This is something I thought about. We asked about the Jordan Peele thing earlier. Cregger was still going to direct it either way. Okay,
Yes.
so it didn't matter if Peele had it. It wouldn't. It was just more about production. Okay.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, off topic, but I saw a comment on our TikTok, so I will ask. Okay. Cool. So let's talk about some spoilers.
Do we want to kind of break it into parts of the movie since it
Sure,
does shift?
we can go through each person's vignette.
Yeah, that's what I
So
was
it starts with
thinking.
Justine.
Yes. I thought Justine was a perfect person to start this movie with because she is just as in the dark as the rest of us. And she is someone who's being affected by this in a much different way than obviously like a parent would be. But I really liked it starting with her because she is being victimized by the entire town now because of
And it makes us side with her because you're immediately put in her shoes. You kind of have to go with her first because if you go with Archer first, you're going to dislike her.
Yes.
But you just like with her knowing like she didn't do this. Like she's the most affected other than the parents really. Like she lost 17.
Yes.
You know, especially like clearly she's a good teacher. They've made that point.
Well, and she's also going through the grief of not only losing these 17 children, she also lost her job. She's lost everything.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, like, she has a house still, but like everything else is gone.
She's already kind of a lonely person.
Yeah.
And so it's just this like horrible thing.
And she already clearly has a history of alcohol misuse. So obviously, you know, then we're going to get into that.
But either way, her whole setup is more just like she cares about this kid, Alex, a lot. And she clearly cares about her students, but she also really cares about clearing her name.
Yes.
And so she's kind of going down this rabbit hole of trying to solve this herself, which is comparable to Archer's rabbit hole as well. And I also think it's kind of the Cregger we said before. No, we didn't say this. You and I talked about this. Has things to say about the police. He does not like the police.
No,
he won't say it, but he says it in his movies. And I agree. And Hanna and I are on the same page with him. Yeah. He believes that the police are incompetent most of the time, and in both of his movies, police are completely incompetent. And this is another case of that. We'll get into it more with Paul, but
I loved it.
There is such a problem with the police doing just a bad job solving this.
Oh my God, yeah. That it makes the other characters kind of get into vigilante mode. And I think hers is less solving it than Archer's. I think that is kind of how he channels his grief entirely from what we see from him.
Hers is definitely more about clearing her name than actual grief, I would say, which, you know, can't blame her.
Yeah.
She's a little selfish.
But I mean, certainly that's part of it.
Yeah.
I think Archer, as we mentioned, that's a father of one of the missing kids.
Josh Brolin.
Yes. I really like his arc because I do think this is what a lot of people in this situation would be. There would be like parents who are completely lost, distraught, can't wake up and function, but then there would be people who are like, we have to solve this. And like, I'm putting all of my energy into that so we don't like completely implode.
I'm just like realizing how heartbreaking every like vignette is because I'm trying to think like Justine's is very upsetting because she's put in this horrible position and like clearly has problems.
She already had mental health
Archer's
challenges.
like the touch of having him sleep in his son's bed every night, especially so like Brolin being this, you know,
sad
burly man in my mind. And it's just like, and he's just angry. He's blaming Justine. He just doesn't know where to direct this like grief. And it's directed in anger towards her. And I love it. Like, I just think it's such a, I said before, I love him cast as this. And it really makes you feel, I feel empathy for all these characters in their faults as well. Like, completely. Yes. I mean, Justine makes a guy cheat on his wife and makes him drink alcohol when he's clearly has a problem. And
I wouldn't say she makes anybody, but
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, they're all, like I said, they all have flaws, and I still love them for their flaws. Like, this is like a clearly really good writing, really good character introduction from Cregger when we only really get 15 minutes, it feels like, with each of them. But
Yeah.
do you have more to say about Archer before we get on to our next person?
I like how Archer experiences a lot of growth throughout this movie. And, like, not necessarily, like...
Yes.
Yeah, like, I think he's able to grow in his relationships with other people and where he's placing the blame or not.
I agree. And he has, like, a hero moment. He has an arc.
He does have a hero moment, and I loved the hero moment because, like, you're kind of like... Maybe he's a dick because we get to know Justine a little bit. We know she's flawed, but we might like her. We do like her because we feel for her. We're sympathetic. And then he starts and he's like an ass to her. So then you're kind of like, okay, maybe I don't like this guy.
And then the second you see him, you know, dreaming about his son. And
then you feel for him. And then you get this moment of him saving her. And you're like, fuck. He hates her. He thinks she's at fault, and he's still saving her because he's got good instincts.
I knew he was a good person when he's having his nightmare, and he's like been this tough guy that hasn't been able to say "I love you" to his son, and he's going. It's maybe one of my favorite jump scares of the year, where he's like, "I'm sorry, I never said it. I'm sorry," and he goes to say "I love," and then it hits you with a jump scare as he's about to say "I love you." I think that was another moment that you like screeched in the theater the second time.
The first one was on the ceiling in Justine's room.
Yep.
I think all the scenes in Justine's house were pretty tense.
And I will say, for those who haven't seen it, a lot of these scenes repeat or overlap, and we see from different perspectives as we go through characters.
Love that, seeing it from each like different people's perspective.
Makes the movie really hard to talk about because it's out of order.
Yeah.
A lot of the times. But let's go to Paul next, because I also really like Paul, and I think Paul is a really bad person.
Paul is a horrible person.
Paul is a really bad person, and I can't help but be like, Paul's a cop. And he beats the shit out of this homeless kid at one point because the homeless kid's being a dumbass, but that doesn't mean you should beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
But like I feel for Paul still because I don't know if you did. I mean, the whole thing is that sets up is he's like arresting this kid for trying to steal something. And he's like, is there anything sharp on you? Is there anything sharp? And the kid's like, no. And he sticks his hand in and immediately gets a hypodermic needle in his finger and knocks this kid out. James, that was his name, right?
Except I will say, I felt minimal sympathy for Paul. Minimal. Because I was like, bro, you trying to hit this unhoused person with a car. It's not that deep. Chill the fuck out.
I did feel that as well. Maybe it was because the chase scene was so intense, though.
The chase scene was really well done. It was really entertaining.
One of the best chase scenes I've seen. Where'd that come from?
I really liked that.
I felt like, especially in IMAX, I was like, I'm in this car. I'm going to wreck. I'm scared.
But like realizing this happens before he meets up with Justine at the bar. So the second he got pricked, I realized he slept with her.
Without getting a test of anything.
Knowing that he could have an STD or hepatitis.
Yep.
So I was like, despicable. Absolutely fuck you, Paul.
But I'm saying, I think maybe it's Alden or the way it's written where it's
I just think he has charisma.
I'm still like interested in him, and I understand where his anger came from, but it's also like, relax, dude.
You can't punch people in the fucking face.
You can't punch people in the face. And then him also just being like, I'm sorry, and he's like trying to like make it better. And it's like a classic.
But he's not actually trying to make it better. He's trying to save his own ass. He literally unplugs the dash cam. Again, you can see how Cregger feels about cops because the cop is so despicable and is unplugging the dash cam.
And also the whole point was that James then later he finds the kids and he's coming back to get the reward.
And he gets fucked.
But Paul sees him again. He's like, I told you not to come back. And so he has to chase him off, and it like leads to both of them getting killed. So let's talk about James. James is really a hard character. He makes me very sad as well.
I do think James, they give him really funny dialogue and like personality traits that are really funny.
James is the unhoused teenager, whatever how old he is.
Yeah, I liked his character a lot because I did think it helped give us like appropriate levity that we needed. Yeah. And so I enjoy, even though obviously his plight is difficult and sad, I do think he brings appropriate levity. I think he is also like, to me, very sympathetic.
Agreed.
Because unhoused, clearly doesn't have supportive friends or family, like he's calling people and no one wants to deal with him.
It's also clear though that he's like taking advantage before.
Taking advantage of them. And
having
worked in drug and alcohol recovery, obviously, like I have seen a lot of the same patterns before, and I have a lot of empathy for that experience.
What I keep wanting to interrupt you to say, because I'm pumped about how well written this character is it's crazy how much Cregger was able to do in a short time with this character, that I thought this was like a almost amazing portrayal of this kind of person. Like, I feel for them, but I'm also like looking at them like so frustrated, you know. I'm like you don't need to be doing this, and like and it's like I thought it was a fantastic.
I think we feel how a lot of friends and family of people who are in recovery or not yet in recovery feel.
Yes. But I'm saying that's incredible, right? Like, that's a really good... I'm saying I look at this character and I'm, like, sympathetic, but then I'm also watching him go and pull on car doors, and it's just defined.
Which
and finally,
is funny on screen, but it is really sad and hard to, consider. Like, it's happened.
Stealing an iPad to then go try to sell to get more drugs. And I was just like... Oh, yeah, you're right. It's funny. But you're like, no, this is like almost exactly how this kind of thing goes. And he's like calling like, oh, I need a suit for this job that he's lying about, like calling family.
But and it's also like when you are sick.
You don't know. Yeah.
From not using, it changes your brain chemistry.
100%. That's why
it's
I'm saying
a literal illness. So like you do what you have to do to take care of your illness. So,
and I think that's why I'm saying I think it's actually a phenomenal portrayal. That's both critical, but not hateful towards someone.
I don't think it's like
this, you know,
judgmental.
Correct. I completely agree. It's just real, which is what's weird. Like in this,
and they also make him like the most likable character. Actually, I would say of the four we've talked about so far, I genuinely think he could be the most likable outside.
We have to get to the most likable is the next person we're going to talk about.
I was not including Alex. No, Marcus. Or Alex.
Alex is the most likable, but Marcus next being Benedict Wong. Justice for him, because I feel like he's one character that was not a bad person and he got shafted in this movie.
Honestly, his story really depressed me because he was just doing what he thought was the right thing, and honestly was the right thing, I think most of the time.
I think putting her on administrative leave was not the right thing.
But I also understand why he had to do that for the community and like for her safety.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he is doing what he can and what he feels is right, and I respect him a lot, and I like wish everyone in the helping professions had like him. The same heart that this character has.
I need to keep pointing out how funny it is that we have so many opinions on these guys. When it's been like
we get like very limited time with all
and
of
we
them,
like have so much to say, and we feel like we know them. This was like a hangout movie a little bit, you know?
I did really love them, and I loved him. Like, he's just this average guy who's super empathetic, and he's just trying his best, making hot dogs with his partner.
Yeah, and wearing their Mickey and Minnie t-shirts.
They were
adorable. All right, let's talk about Alex, because this kid broke my absolute heart.
Well, I will say the best moment of body horror was one of the best moments of body horror was with Marcus.
You're right.
With him murdering his partner by using his head to bash his partner's head in, and then how fucked up his face and his eyes were when he then attacks Justine. And also how devastating that is for her, too. Being like, what the fuck? My, like, one friend and supporter in this whole situation just attacked me.
All right, I'm going off topic for 1 second because I need to address TikTok, because I keep seeing, and I'm keeping this in too, I keep seeing people say that nothing happens in this movie.
That's bananas.
I just don't think you like movies if you're saying that. Just because you don't need things to happen. Of course things happen. Little character developments happen. Little moments happen. Like, the whole thing is little things happening, just because maybe not everything pushes.
This is a story over 24 hours.
Yes,
like, what did you think was going to happen?
Short, just because not everything pushes the overarching structure of the plot forward doesn't mean things aren't happening. Like, we're learning about characters. We're learning about what motivates them, how they change. And a lot of them change drastically within this short period of time. We're along for the ride. The point of this movie, I think, is to just make us feel gross and then also make us laugh. In this weird, like, mix. Sorry, I'm complaining about that because so much happens in this movie. if you actually look for it, or let it come to you, is what I should say. Let the movie come to you. Stop trying to solve it.
And I've also seen a lot of comments like fighting over whether this was scary or not.
It was.
So
scary.
Again, we mentioned this earlier in the podcast. Yes, it is scary. It is creepy. It is disturbing. It is uncomfortable. It does all of those things. And I think they all fall under what makes a good horror movie. Just because something isn't making you scream out loud or jump out of your seat doesn't make it not a good piece of horror.
I'm gonna say something drastic. I feel like you need to have empathy to find this movie scary. Like, all of this is built on having empathy for the characters. And if you don't have empathy, at least for Alex in this movie, like, you might want to talk to somebody. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, it's scary because of the terrible things that are happening to these people and the terrible things that they're going through. All of them. All of them go through terrible things. And just because, like, just watching the plight of James as he's, just trying to scrounge cash is scary.
Do you think that Cregger is putting that there as, like, a moral test? Like, Like, I would not be surprised if that's part of
Let's talk about
the
little
intention.
Alex.
Alex is the most delicate baby being, this poor angel boy. As stated in the plot description, it's basically just like fucking Aunt Gladys comes in and is abusing the absolute fuck out of him and his family, and then manipulating him into not being able to tell. I mean, it's so classic child abuse. Like, if you tell, I'll kill you.
Yeah, basically she's like, I'm gonna kill your parents, is what it was. So, like, he had to, and she uses him to basically lure all the children in. And Alex is just like, if she gets better, like, she'll leave and, like, everything will go back to normal. I'll get my parents
he's a
back.
Kid, so of course that's where his brain is going. Like, anything that he does wrong in this movie is totally fair for a child. Like,
and he ends up saving the day at the end.
Yes.
He ends up standing up to her and saving the day.
The bravest being.
He has a great arc, but it's like, no, it's not his fault. Like, he doesn't know any better. He's being abused and manipulated and lied to.
Yes.
And then the heartbreaking, the soup. He's sitting there. This is for people who haven't seen it. He has to feed his comatose parents that can just basically swallow food, and that's it. And every day he has to come home and he's like learning basically. It's a loss of innocence story. Like, he's opening these cans of soup that he's never done before, spilling them all over the place. And it's this, like, short, basically, horror film of him, like, feeding them, going to school, cutting paper and trying to live his normal life, coming home to his comatose parents that he can't tell anybody
and continuing
about.
To try and feed them.
Treat them and feed them. And then all of a sudden he's got 17 kids in his basement, which multiple of them are his bullies. And he's feeding them and keeping them.
Having to take care of them,
And it is... I really think there's that juxtaposition shot where it's him cutting paper in school.
And he just looks so deflated.
Exhausted, like he's being abused at home. Which, like, this is one of the themes, I would say, is, like, abuse. You can't always see it.
Yeah.
Like, he's clearly fine at school, and then he's coming back to, take care of his family and deal from abuse from Aunt Gladys.
And
he's living the most horrific thing that can ever happen.
Justine noticed.
She did notice, and she tried to help.
She's a good fucking teacher, and clearly these other people aren't noticing.
And she got screwed for it.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's so good. It's like, Alex's whole story. But then, he ends up being the one at the end. He saves the kids and kills Aunt Gladys with the children, which is crazy. He learns from her. He faces his own parents down with them trying to kill him to basically get access to what he needs. And he saves the day. And there's a cool shot that is supposed to be The Shining in that. So it hurts me.
It does hurt.
So that's all I really have to say about Alex right now, until we really fall into themes. But familial abuse is obviously a huge theme.
Very big part of this. Yeah, I really like this movie, and breaking it down really makes me like it more.
Yeah. Well, let's just also say this ending is so heartbreaking, because what does Alex get for all of this? Well, he gets to go live with his other aunt because his parents are being, in quote in the movie, being fed by soup, still being fed soup, but not by Alex anymore.
Yes.
Meaning that they're still just basically comatose.
I know, that was the most depressing thing. It's also a child narrating that who clearly also doesn't have the same understanding of how horrible that is. So it's delivered so it's so matter
candid.
Of frank.
And then
facts.
Some of the kids even started talking this last year. So I think people have been asking about this. I believe the reason that they're comatose and can't speak is because she was sucking their life force
out of them.
She pulled the life out of the parents so their brains don't work. The kids, she was feeding on for a while. So I think anyone that was fed on is
for longer
is not going to recover. Yeah. But I think the kids will probably, because that's the whole thing. It's still a trauma allegory as well. Like as time goes on, the children may forget and move on. The adults probably not though. And the reason Josh Brolin was okay was because she never fed on him. She just hypnotized him.
Yeah.
So it hurts. So let's talk about some themes.
Yeah.
If we get into it.
Obviously, this is entirely about grief, as Zach Cregger said, writing the movie.
This is about a lot of things, but go ahead with grief first.
That's the biggest overarching theme.
Okay.
It's all of these people are affected by grief or by the loss of these children in some way. And that's why all of the characters at some points see like Aunt Gladys somewhere in their life, even before they've met her in person. And I think that's because she is like seeing her is signifying the impact of these events on their life and their existence. Yep. Obviously, Justine is grieving the loss of her students, the loss of her job, the loss of the community's trust in her, the loss of her sobriety. Archer is grieving his child, obviously, and his various behaviors. It's like all of them, it's like showing the impact of the grief on them. Yeah. Paul, I wouldn't say is like directly grieving anything, but it's
his is kind of his relationship, right?
Grieving, maybe that, but it's also like showing the impact on these other people grieving and how it impacts him and how he's kind of not that empathetic to it.
Yeah. Typical cop.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Obviously, Alex is, you know.
Alex is just, he's doing everything he can to stay afloat. I was even going to say James, like we don't know his story, but it's like he doesn't have the life he did at one point. Yeah. Like he has fallen into this.
He doesn't have the family and friends and the support that he clearly once had.
And Marcus is someone just trying to like keep everyone else afloat. As the principal of the school, like this is his job, is to like protect his teacher, also, you know, feel for the parents, and he has lost 17 children.
To protect the students moving forward, and when you don't know what happened, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree with the grief narrative, and I need to talk about the book It a little bit along with that grief narrative, because I do find a lot of comparisons to this that I haven't seen people talk about.
Okay.
Because initially I was like, oh, Gladys is Pennywise. I was like, Gladys is like feeding on the fear of these children, feeding on the grief of the town. And a big part about, there's two big themes in it. Actually, there's a lot more than two big themes. But two big I'm going to talk about are loss of innocence of children, and like lack of control that children have. And that's like one big thing here is that Alex has zero control over his life. And he is now, that's another reason he makes the decisions he makes. He's like thrust into being controlled by Gladys. And he's kind of actually loses innocence via having to feed his parents and take care of everyone, which I think eventually leads to him being strong enough to go against her. So I think she was kind of her own downfall with Alex, to be honest. But in general, like it is about that, like violence against children, that loss of innocence that we see here, which is a great theme for a small town like this. That's like a big thing in it, as well as like the town is kind of the problem as well. In this one, we do kind of see it. All these characters have bad things about them. And like the town is partially to blame, right? The police are messing up. Like the teacher tried to help, but no one really believed her, and she didn't like fully go into that, right? Dad is kind of not a good father, it appears. Like there's everyone has a say in this, and then ultimately a witch comes in and feeds on it. But it's a perfect environment. The same way that Derry or whatever was a perfect environment for Pennywise, this Maybrook was a perfect environment for Aunt Gladys to come in and feed. So that was my big thought about why I felt it compared to it, in terms of like the violence against children and the town being part of the problem, like this Middletown America fear. I really like that. And then, is there anything else you have for themes?
Well,
beyond grief in this,
I think fuck the police, as we established.
Well, I have one more if you don't.
Oh, I mean, I do.
You do? Then go for it.
Fucking saying.
Okay, my bad.
Obviously, fuck the police.
That is part of it.
They're clearly not putting in the resources to solve this. Obviously, because fucking Archer figured it out with like 4 minutes. Obviously, the man is unplugging his dash cam. He's hitting and abusing someone that I mean, there's no right to do that anyway, period, point blank. Especially like this dude didn't do anything wrong. I think Paul, and then also like Paul's relationship with like the chief, because of that relationship, the chief of police is totally willing to like hide what Paul did too. And I think that is something that we see very often in our current system. So I really do think Cregger is very critical of those institutions. I also think, obviously, there is the theme of familial abuse.
Yes.
And neglect.
Yep. All right, I got one.
Did you want to expound upon that at all?
The familial abuse? I think we got into that. I mean,
we definitely touched on that.
It's definitely all about, like, I think that whole scene of Alex is an example of that. And we said earlier, like, not being able to, like, it's hard to see exactly that that's happening. The kids are going to hide it. And so it's just, like, a very sad thing because he has to just go and be normal, you know, in school. Like, he can't, he's worried his parents are going to get killed. So,
yeah.
The one I want to talk about that I've seen some other people talk about that I thought was kind of genius was the idea of older generations, meaning boomers, have ruined the world for younger generations, like Zoomers, Gen Z, millennials even. Yeah. Meaning that they have sucked up all the resources for us and have hoarded them and held on to them. And it's made all of our lives harder. And I think we know that. Like housing prices are through the roof. We don't plan to, you know, we might be able to buy a house someday, but like it's much harder. The cost of living is gone up. The wages have not gone up. And then even as simple as looking at global warming is they just burned and sucked up resources and our planet is dying and it's becoming not nearly as inhabitable as it was. And I think that's part of this is Gladys being this old person refusing to let go of this is going to suck the life out of youth for her own benefit, right?
Yep.
And she continues to like do that. And then I think that also plays into the inherent selfishness of each character. Now, not all of them are older, but like that's kind of part of this whole mentality is like this older generation was very selfish. Sorry. I mean, our moms are in this generation. I'm not blaming them, but I'm just saying like that's part of where we are as a society is because of that generation.
I love this.
I just think it's a really interesting way to look at it is like Gladys is the boomers and older who, you know, had the world was their oyster, at least the United States was their oyster. And now because of that, it is in shambles a little bit right now.
Yes.
So, and they kind of continue. I think older people continue to resource hoard.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, as a younger person, we obviously see that firsthand quite frequently, and like the difference that our generation has compared to other generations and the resources they had versus what we don't.
And even more, the ending of this movie is so perfect for this theme because we are doing what we can to like, you know, save this planet and protect each other and help each other and do it. But like damage has been done.
Yes.
We're still going to be eating soup from another or another, not fed by Alex anymore. We're still going to just start speaking in a year. But I think there is a little bit of hope because that younger generation, the parents of Alex are screwed. They're not coming back, right? Like they've already, the world is not good for them. But if we turn things around where we are, maybe the children will start speaking again.
That's beautiful.
That's what I'm saying. If we turn things around, like the damage is there, but maybe we can move on from this. And I'm not blaming all boomers. This is more of a generalization. It's more about what the United States has done and during that time period. How really it's politicians more than anybody. But I will say we kind of know that there are a lot of older people and they have kind of resource hoarded us a little bit and then voted to not help anybody. So I'm calling them out.
I think ultimately this movie is Zach Cregger saying you guys should have empathy for other people. I think like in summation of all of the themes is like maybe people should have more empathy and like care about other people and how they impact other people in the world.
You're totally right. Boom! Well, even more him thinking about Trevor, like the whole grief narrative fits in even more. And Trevor was a flaming lib and called out these institutions all the time. I mean, so was White as Kids You Know.
Cregger is very clearly also flamingly progressive. And I love him for that. Me too.
They were George Bush era like sketch comedians and they called him out constantly and called out the United States constantly. So, yeah. Well, I really liked this movie. Let's rate it. Or do we have a favorite scene? What else do we need to do?
I wanted to touch on some people I've seen people like give and get people giving shit to this movie for having unexplained questions or like imagery that doesn't really have like meaning maybe.
I think I disagree with them, but let's talk about it.
Do you feel like there's that there are major unexplained questions that impact the
I don't.
interpretation of the movie?
I don't. Do you know what other people are saying?
Well, like, no, I just seen a lot of comments like, well, what did you think? Like, where do you think the kids went when they came over?
I don't care. What do you mean, where did they go? Well, they went somewhere that no one found them, and then they came back.
Yeah, and I just think there's, like, little questions like that people keep, like, picking apart tiny things. Or, like, what did the gun dream mean? Things like that. And it's like, I don't know if it really fucking matters.
Well, I think part of the gun dream is it being influenced by the witch. And also, like, the name of the movie's Weapons because she is turning people into weapons because she's able to make them kill people. It's that simple. But cool. I don't think there were any unanswered questions. I don't think there was anything that was meaningless in this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
And yeah, I stand by it. I think maybe this is why people didn't find it scary because they were too busy trying to Jeremy CinemaSins this instead of having empathy for the characters.
I do think that is a common problem. And I get comments like that a lot on our lives.
Yeah, It drives me insane.
Drives me
You need to get some empathy and some media literacy and also stop trying to beat the movie.
Yes.
Eat the movie. Don't beat the movie. Oh, another theme. I forgot. There were a lot of school shooting elements in this. I totally forgot about that. Yeah. Like this classroom disappearing, and that's part of the grief, right? The town losing 16 kids and just having to move on. I completely missed that. That also ties into the whole boomers ruining the world thing.
Well, I was going to say weapons. It also ties into weapons.
I feel dumb. Yeah. I don't want to rush this theme, so let's take a step back. I totally forgot this one.
Go ahead, take your step.
No, let's see. So there's a lot of imagery about school shootings, especially like 17 children disappearing from the classroom and one remaining. That child obviously has survivor's guilt. That's Alex, which also plays into the feelings he has throughout this. And also he should have guilt because he helped lure the children there. Yeah. So that's a cool combo. The teacher has extreme survivor's guilt and is trying to fix the problem. And so does a father, right? That would also be school shooting survivor's guilt. And unfortunately, with school shooting, there is no problem to be solved other than gun control, which we have to go against our government for that. And that's kind of them going against the police, right? That would be my interpretation, is them both going against the police is like, hey, let's actually enact change here. And so I think that kind of is our big tie-in on that. But I will also then say it does tie into my whole thing about how older generations have left our world a mess, and this is one of those things where obviously older generations vote Republican way more, and that is the party of complete freedom of basically to bearing arms in the Second Amendment to the point of idiocracy, I would say. And so once again, it's that generation is stealing the childhood away from these children who have to deal with these experiences, which all of these children did have their childhoods stolen. Anything else? Did I ramble too much, or was I concise enough? Okay, I'll end it right there. Concise. Cool.
Is there any movies that you would compare Weapons to? Like, if you liked these movies, would you like Weapons?
I think it's like Long Legs, but like 2 times better.
I think that's a good comparison. I think narratively it has similarities to Barbarian, and like the humor is different, but like
I got another one.
Might like. Go ahead.
Prisoners.
Yeah, I see that.
And I think if you were a fan of any of the small town horror, like Stephen King's books, or even Twin Peaks that I always have to bring up, this would be something for you as well. Like just the idea, and I love the whole small town horror vibe. Yeah. It's something that really affects me because it's so real. And I think this whole movie, while it is about a spooky witch, has so many real feelings and real fears that we have. So... and that's Small Town Horror gets it. So, any other comparisons? I said it. It really made me think of it.
I think those are good comparisons.
I wonder what Stephen King thinks of this movie, because it definitely feels inspired by him.
That man's gotta like this movie.
Yeah.
It'd be bananas if he didn't.
There was a lot of inspiration on this, so...
I think a lot of Stephen King movies are actively much worse than this, too, so...
Yeah, I mean, obviously The Shining is, like, up there, but, like, oh yeah, I'm not comparing it to, like... The Green Mile.
No, you're comparing it to...
I'm comparing it to his actual
some
works.
of his horror books. Yeah.
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 Yeah. But overall,
I was only saying that because someone in our comments said that it was ridiculous for us to compare it to Stephen King. So I'm just putting it out there that Stephen King movie adaptations are historically not very great.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do think we didn't get to favorite scenes. We didn't do this or that, but I do think we've talked about this movie
At length.
So we do feel like we can wrap it up. And if anyone has any additional questions, comments, concerns, feel free to message us on the socials or comment. And we can always post a bonus episode or pick it up in another episode and like answer any questions.
And let us know what you thought. Did you love it? Did you hate it? We're on the love side of things. We align with critics a lot because we're just that smart. We're built like that.
Not consistently, but
all right.
In this case, we did.
I have my rating ready.
Okay, go ahead.
I am giving this movie an 8.5 out of 10.
Fuck you. That's mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like this movie a lot.
Yeah.
It's not like perfection. I know what a 10 out of 10 feels like.
It's not a 10 out of 10.
It's not that. But hell yeah, it's good. And I am so excited for more of it. So I'm so excited for more of Cregger's work. I think he's really just he's an auteur. He's an upcoming auteur. I think the way he weaves themes into his movies that are conflicting, and there's many of them, is good. And I think the way he makes us feel for characters is probably not talked about enough. And even just talking about it here, I was like, my goodness, like he made very impactful characters that I cared about in such a short amount of time. So like people can take lessons from him.
Yeah.
You got thoughts?
I agree. No, I agree entirely. And yeah, I just think it's a really great movie. It's not perfect, but I think it was a really, really strong showing from Cregger. It's definitely at the top of my list for the year. I think it will stay in my top 5. Yeah.
It's in my top 5. It's my top 3. It's Sinners, Weapons, and 28 Years Later are my top 3 currently.
I think this movie will continue to have, though there's going to be a lot more dialogue to be had over time.
It's also one that has stuck with me in comparison to other horror movies I've seen this year.
To be fair, you saw less than a week ago. But.
No, but after I walked out of Together, I was like, yeah, it's fine, but that's not going to like be in my head for very long. Weapons is one that like is kind of, it's lodged itself in the pit of my stomach that makes me feel upset in a good way.
Totally agree.
So let's log out of or sign out of our podcast and talk to these 47 people we have in our TikTok live right now.
Okay.
All right. So for people listening on audio, we're done here. If you want to get in on more action, you got to come follow us on TikTok Live. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I've been Matt Hanna.
I'm Hanna.
This is Horror with the Hannas. Go see Weapons in theaters.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Horror Hour with the Hannas. Make sure to listen to future episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever else you can find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube, where we post episodes and shorts. You can follow us at Horror Hour with the Hannas on TikTok and Instagram, as well as at Horror Hour on Blue Sky for more content. If you like the podcast, please follow and leave a review on your favorite podcasting app. Happy hauntings!